He noticed her in the small, ordinary ways most people never think to look for. The way her shoulders relaxed when she laughed, the pause she took before speaking when something mattered, the faint smile that appeared only when she felt safe. To everyone else, their connection seemed simple, friendly, familiar, unremarkable. But for him, every shared moment carried weight, meaning, restraint. He loved her quietly, carefully, without expectation. And the cruelest part was not that she didn't return his feelings. It was that she never knew they existed at all. Ethan had always been the kind of man who listened more than he spoke. He worked as a project coordinator for a mid-sized firm in Portland, steady and dependable, rarely drawing attention to himself. People trusted him instinctively. He remembered details, showed up on time, followed through. Yet beneath that calm exterior lived a depth of emotion he rarely allowed himself to express. Claire entered his life through coincidence rather than intention. She joined the same office after transferring from another department, bringing with her a quiet confidence that didn't demand attention but naturally earned it. She was thoughtful, observant, and sincere in a way that felt increasingly rare. She spoke with intention and listened without judgment, making people feel seen without trying to fix them. Their desks were close enough for casual conversation, far enough to keep things professional. Over time, brief exchanges turned into longer talks about weekend plans, favorite books, small frustrations. Ethan found himself anticipating those moments more than he cared to admit. Claire treated him with warmth and ease, the kind reserved for people she trusted. For Claire, Ethan was safe, reliable, a presence she didn't need to question. For Ethan, she became something else entirely, someone he carried with him long after the workday ended. Their connection grew quietly, shaped by routine rather than grand gestures. Morning greetings turned into shared coffee runs. Lunchtime conversations stretched longer than planned. Ethan noticed patterns others missed. How Claire avoided talking about her father. How her mood shifted when deadlines piled up. How she hummed softly when focused. He supported her without calling attention to it. When she forgot her lunch, he offered half of his without explanation. When meetings overwhelmed her, he stayed behind to help jumble notes, never framing it as a favor. He learned how to be present without intruding, generous without expectation. Claire, unaware of the depth of his feelings, spoke openly around him. She mentioned past relationships with the distance of someone who had learned, but not hardened. She laughed about bad dates, sighed about timing that never quite worked. Each story landed gently on her voice, but heavily in Ethan's chest. There were moments when he almost spoke, like the evening they stayed late, rain streaking the windows as the office emptied. They shared takeout at their desks, music playing softly from someone's forgotten speaker. Claire leaned back, eyes closed for a moment, and said it felt good to be understood without explaining everything. Ethan felt the words rise to his throat then. He wanted to tell her that understanding her came naturally, that loving her felt just as instinctive. But he saw the comfort in her posture, the trust she placed in him, as someone uncomplicated, safe from emotional demands. And so he stayed silent. Time moved forward. Claire began seeing someone new, a man she met through friends, enthusiastic, expressive, openly interested. She talked about him with cautious optimism, as if trying not to hope too much. Ethan listened, nodded, offered measured encouragement. When she asked him what he thought, he chose honesty without confession. He said she deserved someone consistent, someone who showed up. It was true, even if it excluded himself. As her relationship deepened, their interactions subtly shifted. Less lingering. Fewer spontaneous conversations. Not because Claire withdrew, but because life expanded in new directions. Ethan adjusted quietly, stepping back without being asked. He attended her birthday gathering, smiling politely, standing slightly apart as she introduced her boyfriend with a glow he recognized but never inspired. The realization settled then, not as pain, but as acceptance. His love had never been meant to be seen. Ethan's love was shaped by restraint rather than fear. He did not believe his feelings were unworthy. He believed they carried responsibility. He understood that speaking them might change the nature of what they shared. And he valued her sense of ease more than his need to be known. For him, love was not urgency. It was patience, observation, protection of another person's emotional balance, even at personal cost. His silence was not weakness. It was a deliberate choice rooted in care. Claire's unawareness was not neglect. She trusted Ethan because he never complicated her life. In her mind, affection looked different, expressed through clarity, openness, visible intent. Ethan's love existed in the spaces she never thought to examine. The turning point came quietly, without confrontation or dramatic loss. It was the moment Ethan realized that love did not require recognition to be real, that his feelings could exist fully, even if they were never mirrored or acknowledged. This understanding didn't erase the ache, but it reframed it. He stopped waiting for the right moment to speak because he understood that the moment had never been meant for words. What he felt had already lived its purpose in the way he treated her, supported her, respected her boundaries. And that, in its own way, was complete. Eventually, life shifted again. Claire moved to a different department, then later to a new city. Their conversations became occasional messages, updates exchanged with warmth but without dependency. Ethan responded kindly, briefly, allowing space to grow where it was needed. He missed her in unexpected ways. Not constantly, not painfully, but in flashes. When he passed a cafe she loved, when a song reminded him of late evenings at the office, when he caught himself smiling at something she would have found funny. But the missing was gentle now. Ethan learned that loving someone did not always mean walking beside them. Sometimes it meant walking parallel for a time, then allowing paths to separate without resentment. He didn't regret his silence. It had preserved something fragile and sincere. Years later, when he looked back, he didn't remember heartbreak first. He remembered clarity, the way loving her had taught him patience, emotional discipline, and the quiet strength of restraint. It prepared him for a different kind of relationship, one where his feelings could be shared openly, received fully. As for Claire, she carried memories of Ethan as someone kind, steady, and trustworthy. She never knew the depth of what he felt, and perhaps she never needed to. What mattered was that, for a season of her life, she had been supported without condition. Some loves are spoken and shared. Others exist only in action, in silence, in quiet loyalty, and even unseen, they are no less real.